Hello everybody and welcome to the second tutorial on urban growth modeling using Sleuth. In this tutorial, I'll talk about installing Sleuth on the Cygwin. In the previous tutorial, I talked about Cygwin. As you all know, modeling urban growth by Sleuth requires three items: an environment run Sleuth, which is normally Cygwin, and we talked about this in the previous tutorial. The Sleuth package itself, which will be covered in this tutorial, and the input data, which will be covered in the later tutorials. After installing Cygwin or other like environments, all we have to do is go to this site, choose Download tab, and press this button to download the Sleuth software on our computer. Imagine you have downloaded and put the Sleuth in local disk E drive as below. This is the local disk E drive, and that's the folder where I've put the downloaded software in. All we have to do now is to start Cygwin, go to this drive and this folder, and run the gunzip and tar commands to decompress this file. It will look something like this. You type cd space e colon, which gets you to the E drive. Then, while in E, you type cd space sleuth2, which means change directory to this folder. And when you get there, you type list or ls, which gets you the names of the files under this folder. That's the file. To unzip and untar the file, we have to use these commands. First, we type gunzip space the name of the file. This name looks rather long. You can as well type the first few letters and press the tab key, and the software guesses the name and fills the rest for you. At the end of the line, you press enter, and this gzipped file will get unzipped and will change into this file. If you get a list of the files, you'll see that this file has been changed to this. Now you type tar space xvf space the name of this file, and as before, you just type the first few letters and press the tab key, and at the end of the line press enter, and the file gets untarred. And now you are ready to compile the Sleuth software. Well, to compile Sleuth, we need to go to the folders gd, then give, and then back to the Sleuth's root to run the make command as below. You see, while in the root we type actually cd, and we get into this folder which has been created for us. Get a list, and these are the files inside this decompressed and untarred file, and you'll see that there's a gd folder in here, there's a gif, and there are other folders as well, such as the input, the output, and the scenarios. We have to go to these folders, the gd folder, gif folder, and run make command. So while in the Sleuth root, we type cd space gd, and that command will get us into the gd folder. After typing these, we press enter, and we are now in the gd folder. We type make and press enter, and that's what happens in front of you. These files get compiled in gd. Well, we have to get out of gd, so that's the command for it, cd space ... and press enter, and that will get us outside of gd. While again in the root, we type cd change directory to gif, and that will get us into the gif folder. And in the gif folder, then again we type make and press enter, and the files get compiled for us. One last time, we get out of this well-give folder using cd space dot dot, press enter, and we are now in the root. And while in the root, we type make and press enter, and these files get compiled. You might as well see some errors here. And as far as I know, these errors might not interfere with the functioning of the program, so don't worry about them. To test if everything's gone well, we can test the software by going to the folder scenarios and do a test run like so. So, as you might remember, we had a folder called scenarios in the Sleuth root. So while in the root, we type cd change directory to scenarios, and this command gets us to the scenarios folder. Then we type ls to see a list of the files there. These are the files. And we type this command /grow.exe test, which means we are testing the software, and that's the name of the file, this file. And at the end of this line, we press enter, and we might see something like this. This shows us everything's gone well, it's functioning okay, and after 4 Monte Carlo iteration, it stops and tells us that it's now ready to do a modeling for our own data and using our own area of study. One last word. If by any chance you couldn't or didn't want to install Cygwin for compiling and running Sleuth, don't worry. There are other free Cygwin-like software, 4 of which are cited below, and I'll cover them briefly in the next tutorial for you. These are MSys2, Baboon, CMDUR, Ubuntu for Windows. So the next tutorial will be Cygwin alternatives. But before going to the next tutorial, I want to show you how to do it yourself live. So as you can see, I go to the desktop and press on the Cygwin terminal. This console is brought up. Then I type cd e colon. It will give me to the e colon. Then in the e, I'll again type cd space sleuth2, and now I'm in the sleuth2 folder. I get a list and I'll see the name of the file over there. So I have to unzip space name. Now I'm recording this. This tab key doesn't work for me, but it should work for you. Well, I'll press that. Everything's gone right. So if I take a list again, I'll see that the file's been changed into a tar file. Now tar space xvf space the name of the file, sleuth3. That's the name of the file, and the files get untarred. So if I take a list again, I'll see that there's a folder here with this name, and that's the tar file we have untarred right now. So in order to get to the root of the software, we have to get inside this folder. I type cd sleuth and the rest of the name. I'm there. If I take a list, I'll see these files and folders. As I've told you before, we have to go to the GD folder, then to the well-give folder, and do a make and then get back to this root and then run a make. Is to do type cd gd ls and make here, and that's the process of compiling the files. It will take some time. These warnings, don't worry about them. You get out of this gd by typing cd space dot dot, and while in root you again type cd var give, and here again I type make. That's done. Nice. I'll get back to the, and that's the process of compiling the files. That's done. If I take a list, now I'll see that there's a file here called grow.exe. So in order to test everything's gone well, I have to go to the scenarios folder. I use cd space scenarios, press enter. I'm inside the scenarios here, and I take a list, and these are the files in there. All I have to do now is to type this grow exe test space and the name of the file scenario dot demo 200 underscore test, and these 4 iterations of Monte Carlo is completed here, showing me that the software is ready for my own modeling. Well, that's it for this tutorial. Thank you very much for watching, and in the next tutorials, I have told you before, I'll cover Cygwin alternatives.